Hello friends, welcome back to Mule S Academy. In today's session, we are going to do some automation part towards the data graph side. Okay. We know how to add the APIs to data graph from data graph UI. So if you look at my screen right now, so if your API specification is available in your Exchange, we can go ahead here and say add the API to our data graph. Okay. And if you don't know how to add it, so I have published a few sessions on data graph. I'll recommend everyone to please go ahead and explore those and then come back to this session. Okay. Before moving on to the technical part, I'll encourage everyone to please go ahead and subscribe the channel, hit the like button, and hit the bell icon so that you'll get notification to upcoming videos. Okay. So first thing, what we need to do is we have data graph UI option to add the API. Second one, we have Anypoint CLI for our data graph. Okay. To use the Anypoint CLI, we need to make some changes to our API specification project. Not changes. Basically, we need to add a dependency. Okay. So let's see what all dependencies we need to add to a project. Okay. So right now, if you see in my Exchange, I have 3 APIs. I'm not going to change these APIs. I'm going to add a new API. Okay, so let's go ahead and add a new API so we can import it from our local system. So I add my simple books API. I have YAML file in zip. So I'll go ahead and first we'll import it. So I'll go ahead and import this. Okay, import it. I'm not going to change anything in my design. I'm going to add only one dependency called data graph extension. Okay, so I'm not going to, as I said, right, I'm not going to change anything over here. It's a very simple API where I have books endpoint and books using ISBN endpoint. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to the Exchange dependency. Here we need to add fragment dependency. Go ahead. And here, if you see data graph API extension, go ahead and add it. It will make some changes to the, I'll show you where it's exchange.json. See here it will show you that the dependency is added as data graph -API extension. Okay, version and scope. Now we'll publish this to Exchange. So we'll publish it to the Exchange. Okay. First time we're publishing it. So V1 is already there. We'll say stable because data graph only supports stable APIs. Okay. And stable REST APIs. So we are going to publish as a stable. Go ahead. Once this is published, we'll make it public API. Okay. So let's wait for the moment it shows that it published to Exchange. We'll go to Exchange. Now refresh. You'll find that API over here. Okay, so books API. Now what we'll do, first thing we'll do is we'll make it, so we'll make it publish. We'll make it public. Okay, so that I can use the markings, URL itself. So we can go here, endpoints. I'll just go and say get. If I go ahead and try to trigger this from my Postman, I should be able to get the mock data. Okay, so I'm able to see the mock data. The issue is, right, so why I make it public? If I won't make it public, I won't be able to access it from outside. Okay, so that's why the reason I made it public to access it from here. So I need few information from here. Okay, so if you look at the URL, we'll take this group ID, the asset ID, and the version. Okay, so let's take this and we'll build a command from Anypoint CLI. So I'll talk about that. So let's first collect the information what is needed for the Anypoint CLI. So let's go to the, okay. So if you look at the CLI, Anypoint CLI references for data graph, okay, so first change we already made, we made the API specification, eligible for, to accessible from Anypoint CLI, Anypoint Datagraph CLI, okay. So that change has been done. We have published it to the exchange and we have grabbed some information from there, okay. So let me explain this command. So you can use data graph sources add command, okay, to add the API sources to your data graph. You can promote it from here. You can work on the load balancer from here itself, from the Anypoint CLI. Okay, so in your CLI, if you don't find these sources, data graph sources, so update your Anypoint CLI, because that's what happened with me. So let's go ahead first and let's try to start our command line. So, and let's connect to our Anypoint CLI, Anypoint CLI. So how to configure Anypoint CLI, please read the documentation. So you need to create .anypoint and folder, and inside that you need to create credentials files. You need to pass your platform credentials there. You need to pass your business group, organization name, and which environment by default you want to connect, okay. Or directly you can connect via Anypoint -CLI username. Then you can pass whatever information, your credentials over here itself directly, okay. Okay, so we need, so let's go back to the command. So we need the group ID, your asset ID, and your version, okay. And little bit about the, if your API is public, you can directly say auth none, okay. If your API is secured via basic authentication, you can pass -- credentials, your username, and your password. Auth, then you can pass client ID, client secret, okay. And you can scope is not required in that case, okay. And if you're passing auth credentials via headers, so you have your custom header option, auth query option, okay. And we need to pass the URL, okay. So on which URL your API is running, okay. So the backend API URL, okay. So let's go ahead and first configure that command. So if you look at, so I'll just copy the previous. So now, so this is a common command. This is constant. Then this is my group ID. This is my asset ID. And this is my version of that API. Okay. And then I need to pass URL of my API. We have not implemented our API. So what we can do, we can go ahead and take this mocking series URL itself. Okay. So let's go ahead and take this URL. Just make sure that you are taking it trail m/. Okay. Go ahead and say URL is this. And since this API is public, so I'll pass this as this API is public. Okay. Okay. Now from our Anypoint CLI, we'll run this command. Let's go ahead and so if this commands run successfully, we'll be able to see this output. You can see here API version v1, asset ID, create date, today's endpoint is this, and the rest of the details are related to the environment ID, group ID, name, organization ID, security schemes, no authorization, right? Let's go ahead and look at our data graph now. So if I go to data graph, see it's updating, and if I refresh this, here we'll be able to see 4 APIs now. See here, books API also it's showing. So now if I go to my data graph back, data graph, you can see here it's updating. I can see that I can show you the list of API added over here. See the books API is getting added. I'll take a pause over here. It will take some time. Okay. And once it's up to date, I'll show you how to query these books. Okay. So I'll take a pause over here. Now you can see that it's up to date. Okay, so the unified schema has been updated with new API. So let's go ahead and see whether we're able to query this books API or not now. So let's go to the query section and let's go ahead. See, now you're able to see that books title. We can go ahead and add has been number and just query it. You can see here, we are able to see the proper data. So now if you want to do automation via, via your CI/CD pipeline, we can use Anypoint CLI. So if you go here, I have, copy pasted the command, but if you wanted to see that like data graph related commands, you just type data and say tab, you'll find all those commands. Okay, data graph describe, you can see data graph load balancer configuration, you can add it from here, data graph source, you can promote it from here, you can update it from here directly. So we can take help of the automation to, to, have something in your CI/CD pipeline. Okay. So thanks for watching. Hope it will be helpful in your project. Bye bye. Take care.